guys? This is Hatsmania. I'm coming to you with another episode of Deck Building 101. So this week I wanted to talk about why quick play spells are becoming more and more important, and if you haven't realized that they are important, that's kind of on you, but at the same time they're becoming more and more useful as the years go on. And I'm really going to touch upon how useful they are during your turn, and they can be just as useful during your opponent's turn. Most notably, the most used quick play spells are probably Mystical Space Typhoon, Book of Moon, and Forbidden Lands. I threw Mass Change up here just as another example. It's used primarily in Heroes. If you didn't know, it's really useful, especially with Dark Law, because Dark Law is extremely big thing. Just simply because anything that likes the graveyard hates Dark Law. So Mass Change is very good in that aspect. It's probably one of the better quick play spell cards, specifically because of Dark Law. Mass Change second as well, even though I don't have that up here. So why are quick play spells so useful? One, they can be activated from the hand. During your turn, if your opponent has a response to anything you have, so for example, if you summon any generic rank 4, and your opponent wants to bottomless trap hole it, you can activate a Forbidden Lance from your hand because it is a quick play spell card, and make it so your monster is immune to spell and trap cards, specifically in that scenario, bottomless trap hole. In that case, your monster would be safe, and they just wasted a one-off trap card that's not searchable and is very difficult to get out of the grave. So that's just one application. MST is another good example. And while I did put up an episode a while ago about how Mystical Space Typhoon cannot negate, because it does not specifically say it negates in its effect, it only destroys, there are ways that it can stop plays or floodgates, specifically cards like Mistake or Vanity's Emptiness, from really affecting you. So, for example, if you want to special summon a monster, if you want to special summon Trick Clown from grave due to its own effect, and your opponent flips up Vanity's Emptiness on your turn, you can activate MST from your hand, destroy Vanity's Emptiness, and by Vanity's Emptiness being gone, you can then still special summon out your Clown Blade and whatever the heck you want to go into. So MST is very applicable, and that's why it's not really going to go under $1, even though no matter how many times it gets reprinted. Book of Moon, extremely disruptive. Mainly because it can stop effects cold. Forbidden Chalice kind of does that as well, but giving your opponent attack points is not the best case scenario, so Book of Moon is usually just the one that you want. But the reason why the quick play spells are just as useful on your turn as your opponent's turn is because they can be activated when they're face down. Of course, is a basic mechanic that is just essential to the game, and if you don't know that mechanic, then you should. But it's oftentimes overlooked. A lot of people think that back row is often only traps, and such as Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, any your general one-off spell, your one-off trap cards. Now, cards like Book of Moon and Mystical Space Typhoon and Forbidden Lance can also be active in response, just like Call the Haunted or anything that is not specific to a certain scenario, such as Bottomless Trap Hole, again, Solemn Warning, again, or Trap Trick Trap Hole, Nightmare, for example. Book of Moon, if your opponent has a monster on the field and they try to MST or Galaxy Cyclone, Book of Moon, and you can then just activate in response, not really have to worry about it, flip their monster face down, and they really can't do anything. MST also, if they have back row, you can activate MST in response to them trying to destroy your face down MST and destroy another of their back row, or even a field spell, for example. So it becomes very applicable, and I think a lot of people really overlook how useful quick play spell cards can be. Even when Galaxy Cyclone first came out, I'll look it up in case you don't know what that card is. And I know this is kind of a duh episode, but it is extremely important just simply in the competitive game how useful quick play spell cards can be. But Galaxy Cyclone, a lot of people thought when this card came out, and its price is really just held strong at $40, just to prove that, Galaxy Cyclone, when it first came out, a lot of people were seeing it as a replacement MST. However, people still run a lot of people still run MST over Galaxy Cyclone. Now, Galaxy Cyclone does have its uses. It's often run in decks at mills, such as Infernoids or Burning Abyss, or even more recent variations of Lightsworn, which you have seen on my channel. But Galaxy Cyclone has its uses, but MST is just still generally more useful just because you can activate it anytime from your hand or the field depending on whose turn it is and what the scenario is. Galaxy Cyclone you can only activate during your turn. And that's where Quickplay Spells kind of trump regular spell cards in the fact that you can activate them during either turn, and they're probably the most versatile back row cards in the entire game. So yeah, if you guys want to discuss this more, by all means, discuss in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And as always, guys, have a nice day.